It's May 3rd, 2022, and this is Sketchworks NewsBrake. The news stops here. I'm Brian Troxell. Although, it might be January 6th again by the time this airs. Politico reports the U.S. Supreme Court will likely overturn the landmark Roe v. Wade case that legalized abortion. The White House plans to mobilize congressional Democrats to pass sweeping legislation protecting a woman's right to abortions, only to cave in because fellow Democrat Senator Joe Manchin wagged his finger at them. Amazon announced they will reimburse U.S. employees who are forced to travel over 100 miles to obtain an abortion. The irony being a delivery company giving money to people so they don't deliver. Thousands of Twitter users have been discussing the latest remarks from Marjorie Taylor Greene about Satan, abortion, and the Catholic Church. In response, Satan's publicist removed his Twitter account, stating he did not want to be associated with Representative Greene or the Catholic Church. Research recently published in the journal Nature predict an increased risk to infectious disease is likely to come with climate change. This just in, nobody has ever cared about climate change. And as the most recent pandemic has shown us, nobody cares about infectious diseases either. Gazillionaire Bill Gates said he made a huge mistake visiting Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein's child sex conviction. Gates also said he made a huge mistake with every hairstylist he's ever used. He's single, ladies. I mean, so am I, but I have negative gazillion dollars. The Bronx Zoo announced the birth of a baby tree kangaroo. After the baby was born, it took one look at the world and went back into its mother's pouch. Gird your loins, because in 2 years we'll have to choose between an old white guy and a young to old white guy who's even crazier than the first old white guy. Sketchworks NewsBrake correspondent Tim Millard embarks on what's definitely a first for NewsBrake.
Just thinking about the 2024 presidential election makes me want to drink. In fact, hold on a second. Nice. However, we at Sketchworks NewsBrake have an obligation to make sure that you, the viewer, knows what's truly at stake in this historic election. That's why, in a first for Sketchworks NewsBrake, we polled a group of likely voters about the issues that will help shape our country and ultimately determine its leadership in the White House. The questions we ask go way beyond the usual "who are you gonna vote for" garbage. We truly want to know what's on the minds of voters everywhere, and that's why we did not hold back in the questions we asked. The results may surprise you. We plan to share those results with you in a future episode of Sketchworks NewsBrake. But we're not going to tell you which one exactly because we want to keep stringing you along so you watch more episodes of NewsBrake so that way I can earn some sort of a financial living from doing this. Not going to lie, that's an actual trick I learned in my TV news career. For Sketchworks NewsBrake, I'm Tim Millard.
Thank you, Tim. I will definitely be watching every single week. A 9-year-old student in Klein, Texas was suspended from school after unwittingly eating a gummy laced with THC. The candy was given to the third grader by a friend in the bathroom. We here at Sketchworks NewsBrake remind you, once again, don't take candy from anyone, especially in the bathroom. Well, unless that's the only place your dealer will meet you. Microsoft is now begging people to stop using its Internet Explorer browser because it plans to officially stop supporting the browser in June. Looks like it's back to Netscape for me. Facebook is shutting down its podcast platform. Did you know Facebook had a podcast platform? Of course not. No one did. That's why they're shutting it down. A woman stranded in a remote North Carolina forest for over 6 days has been rescued after having survived on rationed yogurt and snow. Meanwhile, in a Washington state national forest, someone who fell into an outhouse after attempting to retrieve the cell phone they dropped has also been rescued. If there's anything we can learn from these two stories, it's that we should all just stay the hell away from the forests. A new study published in the Journal of Neuroscience, or John, if you spell John without the H, the way a lunatic would, found that adolescent brains shift around the age of 13 and actually tune out the voice of their parents. So the reason your little shit is acting like a little shit is because your little shit's brain is turning them into a little shit. Hashtag blame science. What to do about your little shits? Look no further, parents. Sketchworks Comedy offers sketch comedy summer camps. Here now is Maria's video. The editor hasn't used the gratuitous plug.
Sketchworks Comedy summer camps are back and in person. During our 2-week camp, kids will play improv games, create funny characters, and write sketches for their own original comedy show. Not excited yet? Campers will also shoot a professionally produced video sketch and premiere it at their showcase. Also included, a show poster, camp t-shirts, awards, and a pizza party. Let's get back into comedy. Sketchworks, cranking out the funny.
Visit sketchworkscomedy.com to learn more. Hundreds of urban areas in the U.S. are becoming rural, but not because people are leaving. It's because the U.S. Census Bureau is changing the criteria regarding what it takes to be considered urban. It will no longer be based on size or population, but rather on the percentage of residents who build their entire personalities around cold beer and pickup trucks. Speaking of which, Arkansas is suing discount chain Family Dollar after investigators found hundreds of rats at a Family Dollar distribution center. The company says it simply hired the rats because nobody wants to work anymore. A study in the recent issue of Political Behavior, or the POBE, found that people living in rural areas are more likely to view intellectuals and experts as untrustworthy. The article suggests using local interpreters to talk to rural residents. In the latest Neanderthal news, a new German study shows that they headed north for the summer to escape the warm temperatures. Archaeologists have excavated a lakeshore site, finding multiple hunting tools. Even Neanderthals partied by the lake during the summer. Woohoo! A Florida woman has listed her Panama City home, which includes 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a pool, and ex-husband Richard. In the Redneck Riviera, if you want to start over, just sell everything, including your spouse. It's week 3 of the USFL's second inaugural season, and nobody cares. Kim Kardashian received her sex tape footage back when ex-Kanye West flew from New York to LA to deliver it in person. Kardashian responded, "I'm just so emotional." Ugh, those two truly belong back together. It was a big week for music. Paul McCartney sang with John Lennon in public for the first time in 53 years. Axl Rose joined Carrie Underwood on stage at Music Festival Stagecoach. And MC Hammer received a $20 tip delivering for Grubhub. 5 people were injured when a car came crashing into the lobby of the 4-star Yotel Hotel in Washington, D.C. It has now been downgraded to 3 stars. I'd give it 2 stars with a name like Yotel. And that's all for Sketchworks NewsBrake. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. I'm Brian Troxell. Say hi to your mom for me. Ask her if she wants her sex tape back. Or my sex tape. Or any sex tape, really. Just ask her.
Brian, I am here at work where my colleagues are all a bunch of dummies.